Hey, welcome back everyone. So in this video, what we're gonna do is we're gonna actually go over the Rotopax gas tanks that I have. We're gonna do like a mini long-term review. I'm just gonna go over a few things that I've noticed over the years and my experience with them. And then we're gonna take a look at the mounting situation. Now, if you've been following along, you'll also know what we're doing is we're trying to drop weight and make things a little more simplistic. And that ties in today's video because we're actually gonna remove the Rotopax mount for the gas tanks entirely and come up with a little bit different, definitely cheaper solution to mount these things that I think is actually going to be better in the long term and a little easier. So let's go ahead and take a look at the tanks and then we'll get into mounting it. All right, so let's go over just the construction of the tank real quick here and how it's held up so far. Honestly, the tank has held up pretty good. It's not ruptured or anything. It's got a lot of not dents, but a lot of scratches and nicks on it. These things ride on the roof rack on my vehicle, and so as such, they're a little more prone to, getting chucked up on the roof rack because they're heavy or accidentally dropped, which I've not done, but I have set them down pretty hard, or trees or low-hanging things smacking them, which I've definitely done. So as far as construction-wise, they are pretty tough. Not saying you can't break them, but the chances of you breaking these are probably pretty low. With that being said, though, there are a few issues that I have with the tank. One, I don't know if this is going to show up on camera, but this rippling is really bad, or like essentially the tank expands and contracts so much that my tanks are permanently expanded or have this permanent rippling in them. I don't know if you can see that, but the rippling is really severe. So what happens is when it gets cold, the tanks shrink and suck in. When it gets warm, they expand. Now, the Rotopax says the fix for this is to vent them daily. If you're on a tire, that's fine. You can go and crack them and vent them, and they will build up pressure. But when you're on a roof rack, it's almost impossible because you're like me, I double stack these tanks. And so you'd have to pull 2 4-gallon tanks off the roof. And since they're kind of big and long and bulky, that's not the easiest thing to do. And because they're so warped, they don't double stack very well anymore. So I have 2 of the mounts here. Essentially, this is their extension mount, and this is their lock mount. Allows you to lock it on the vehicle, and you're supposed to do this. So these things are supposed to tie in together like that, and essentially what you do is you have 2 of these, and you line these up, you slip the first tank on, then you lock the first tank on with this guy, then you slip your second tank on, and you lock the second tank on with this guy. Pretty ingenious system, really. The problem becomes in double stacking the tanks that are expanded. Essentially what I have to do is I have to remove the mounts completely, put the tank on the vehicle, then I have to put this first extension I have to screw it in like this manually. I have to get it started and screw it in, which means I have to push on the tank. And then for the second tank, I have to do the same thing. I have to take this, push it in manually, and with force. Sometimes I have to get on the roof rack and push down to get it to start, and then start it manually, and then I can go about the process of ratcheting these down so they hold. So that's gripe number 1. The other issue is this poor spout. This thing it's just awful, and their fix is not any better. So now that I've kind of gone over the tank, I actually want to show you that next. I want to show you the spout it comes with, and then their alleged fix, and why their fix isn't really a fix. It's kind of 50-50. It's partially a fix. So let's go take a look at that. All right, let's say you're going to put fuel in your Jeep, and I want to show you this or your vehicle. I want to show you this because this is really a huge pet peeve of mine. So let's put gas in it. So we're gonna come in here, take this thing off, and we realize we got one of these dumb eco valves, whatever they are. And let's put this on here. Now, let me talk about this valve for a second before we use it. This valve, and this is not really entirely Rotopax's fault. This valve is junk. Mine is actually broken. Springs started popping out of it after the 3rd use. Because of the way it's designed, you have to actually, on my Jeep, flip it upside down like this to use it. And even then, the only way you're getting this in here is if you hold the tank at some weird, awkward size. So let's do it and I'll show you. You have to hold the tank like this in order to actually get fuel in the vehicle. It sucks, it's awful, it's slow. It doesn't work very well. I hate it. And it gets stuck in there. And you're inevitably gonna get gas everywhere. You say, okay, but Mark, Rotopax has a fix for that. Indeed they do. And here, I have it. So let's use this. Okay, so you say, well, when I buy the roto tanks, I'm going to spend the extra whatever dollars it is for this additional spout here. Okay, let's use this one. Get it on here nice and tight so it doesn't leak. Okay, that works like a gas can should. You can hold it back here nice and easy. It's flexible, it vents, works great, right? Yeah, this is where it stops working great though. So we're done using it, and let's say we want to put it away. Here comes the problem. So we take this, and you would think that you could just take this, flip it back in the tank, throw your cap back on, and tighten this down. That is where you would be entirely wrong. I'm not exactly sure. I've done a little bit of measuring, but in this method, this tank will not seal. You cannot get a good seal on this spout against this mouth here to stop this from leaking. So what you're forced to do is you're forced to go back and use this one to seal the tank up, and then keep this one as a spare just so you can fill it up. That's annoying that I have to have two of these spouts. I have to keep this one in the tank to seal it and this one inside the Jeep. That means when I'm done using this, I have to dry it off and throw it in the back in a bag or something so it doesn't smell the whole vehicle like fuel. And then I keep this junk extra one just for sealing, even though this thing doesn't work and it's a pain in the butt. This is a dumb idea, dumb system. I like this spout, it works really well, but the fact that it doesn't seal in like this means I have to carry more junk with me, and I don't like it. It's a big pet peeve. It really is. Why this one will not seal, I don't know. It's never sealed from day one. So from day one, when I got this extra spout, this is exactly what I've had to do. And I've already ordered one of these because there's no point in having two. Since they don't seal inside the tank, I have to carry these original eco spout things anyway in order for this to, in order for the tank to be useful. Otherwise, what happens is this just drips and drips and drips all over your vehicle or whatever you have it mounted on, and it won't stop. So Rotopax, if you're watching, there should be a fix for this, because this is dumb that I have to carry two of these. I should just be able to stick this in the tank, tighten it down, and call it good to go, and just chuck this one away. Anyway, that's enough ranting. That's a little bit of my review on the tank, long-term review. I've had it for a few years. It's a good tank, it is. It's tough, it's durable. The profile is nice because it doesn't stick up very much. Just it definitely has some shortcomings, and the price is not cheap. So I'm actually gonna dump the rest of the fuel out of this tank into the vehicle, and then we're gonna get on to the rest of the video where we mount this differently and take off the mount up there and lose some weight, and then I'll show you how I think this thing should be mounted if you're putting it on a roof rack or something. Especially if you run two of them, and maybe why you shouldn't run two of them. Maybe you should only run one. Now that we got all the fuel out of that thing, let me show you something here. So this is my Rotopax mount. Essentially it's their plate with their mounts. I already showed you the double stack, twisty in things, locks, whatever they have. So essentially you have to come over here and you have to pound this thing in so it doesn't even fit anymore. And then when you get this first one in, you got to screw the second lock in, or the first lock in, then you do the same thing with the second one, you got to push down. You can even see these don't sit any kind of flat like they used to, so I really have to go around and pound them all down, and that sucks when they're full of fuel, and I'm a short guy, and I can't stop complaining, and things suck. So I think what we're going to do is we're just going to go old school. We're just going to throw ratchet straps to this thing and ratchet it to the roof, and we're going to roll like that for a little while. It's going to make it lighter. I don't know how much, since this plate I think only probably weighs 5 pounds. But again, like I've said in previous videos, every pound counts. You know, if we remove 5 and 10 pounds here and there and all over the rig, maybe at some point we're down 100, 200 pounds, and that's nice. Anyway, I'm going to go ahead and get this removed here, and then we'll pull out the straps and see if we can figure out a way to strap that down where it's not gonna just run all over the place. Because one thing that I'm worried about is if I strap it, it's just gonna slide around. So we'll have to figure out a unique method in doing that. So I think if you have a roof rack or something, you could totally take this thing. Also, this is going to make this slightly lower. Before it was up here like this, would catch a little bit of wind. Now that it's lower, it will catch a little bit less wind. So that's kind of nice. Also, this means I can mount it anywhere. So I think if you took one of these straps, and these are just Harbor Freight ratchet straps I have laying around. I think if you took this and you went through here and into the roof rack, you'd probably have a pretty good little mount there. And honestly, I don't think it would slide around anywhere. And you might think, well, this is definitely more clumsy because you have to get on and off the rack. How did that happen? What the heck? This thing is totally stuck in this corner. I don't know how it got in there. Okay, there we go. Anyway, you may think, well, this is way more clumsy. You have to get on and off the rack to ratchet this thing down. To that, I'd say you'd be wrong. It's just as clumsy. The only reason I would say that is the other system, the Rotopax system we just took off, I had to go and hammer both sides down, and then I have to tighten it down here. I can't quite reach there, so I have to tighten it down there. Getting the second tank on, blah, blah, blah. My life sucks. Anyway, so it's just as clumsy. One way we can actually make this better is obviously by shortening the strap, because we don't need that much length. But let's tighten it down and let's see what happens. Oh yeah, that is not going anywhere. I can shake the whole Jeep with that thing. I like that. That's just one strap too. I thought I was gonna have to use two. I thought I was gonna have to run through there, but I like that even better, to be honest. And these are cheap Harbor Freight straps. Now that I know they work, I can go get some nicer straps and cut them down and make them specific for this purpose. I like that. Obviously you'll wanna, you know, straighten the strap out so this rides smooth against the tank and not rubbing holes in it potentially. But I think if that was flat, then I think you pretty much have it in there, you know? Let's see. I think if I twist this the other way, it'd probably ride pretty flat. Granted, the other side's twisted too, but as long as this ratchet here, yeah, rode like that, you're not gonna rub a hole in the tank, I don't think. You know, and you can crank away to your heart's desire till it's tight. That's not going anywhere. That's gonna stay just like that. That is fantastic. I like that. The other thing this does, now that I'm thinking about it too, like I said, I mainly run with one tank. The other thing this does is it allows me to position the second tank wherever I want. I'm not stuck to running it too high right here, like I was initially, which again, I'm kind of liking. It's more flexible. More flexible. I can run them sideways against here and maybe weld some mounts in here for them, for like the straps to hook to. That'd be a neat idea. That way they have a spot where the hooks, the problem with these straps is the hooks can slide around if you don't have like a nice spot to hook them to. But I can definitely weld a bar in here somewhere and make that happen, which would be, that'd be good. I think that'd be nice. I like that idea. Cool. Okay, so here we go. That's kind of a long-term review coupled with a mounting solution that I think I'm gonna like better. The ratchet strap is easier, believe it or not. It looks a little clumsy, but it's way easier than using the dual stacking mounting system, or even just a single. Just putting this on single, it's much harder with the Rotopax, especially with the twist locking and the pushing down because they don't fit anymore properly. So would I buy the tanks again? I would. I just probably wouldn't buy any mounting systems with it. I'd probably just use ratchet straps and strap it to something, especially on a roof rack. A tire is a little different, but I probably wouldn't run two of these on a tire. I have done it, and I wouldn't do it again. It's just too much weight back there. So not 8 gallons of fuel. It's too much weight on the back of the Jeep anyway. But yeah, I'd probably buy one of these again and just use ratchet straps, and I think that's the best way to go. They're not bad tanks. They just have some faults. And honestly, Rotopax, if you're watching this, fix the spout. Make it so I only have to carry one with me. I know you have to give this one because the EPA, I understand. I'm not dogging you on that one, I get it. But that secondary spout that I bought, man, make it so it seals right. I can't understand. So I think that's good. I want to show you real quick before we end here just what we took off. So we took off this plate from Rotopax, and we took off their mounting system. Now these are two, there's two of these, I'm only holding one right now. But together this is probably 10, 15 pounds we've taken off the roof. That's on the vehicle all the time, which is good. Just helps lighten things up a little bit. And that's really kind of the point, you know, carry less weight, not more fuel. That's gonna be the ticket. If you're gotten to the point where you think you need so much more fuel, 10 gallons of fuel to get somewhere because your rig is getting such bad gas mileage, highway or off-road, doesn't matter, either one. You need to reevaluate your system, I think. You need to look and see if you can drop weight because, and I'm not saying go so minimalist that camping is uncomfortable. Make it comfortable for you, but within reason, you know? There's really no reason there's really no reason like in a Jeep to be carrying 1,000 pounds of weight in the back and then carrying 20 gallons of fuel to compensate for the 1,000 pounds of weight in the back. It's just, it's not that kind of rig. It's probably one of the worst overland rigs that you can have, a TJ, just because it's so small and so inefficient on fuel, but we like it and it works for us and it's what we have. And so we're gonna make it work. But I think running with less stuff is really the key. You know, you don't, once you do this for a little while, you realize how much stuff you just don't use. And that's what I was kind of getting at in my previous video with the stove. We didn't use the second burner, so why have a big stove? You know, you try stuff out over a while, and hopefully some of you will find this video useful and realize and really think, you know, what do I really need to go camping and have a good time? For us, I can tell you that typically more stuff gets in the way and it makes our time worse because we're digging for things. And so make it comfortable for you, make it a good time, but just think, what do I really need? And what can I do without? You are camping after all, or exploring or overlanding, whatever, but less weight is kind of the key. So don't get more fuel, just carry less weight, and you'll thank me by doing that. You'll thank me, you'll realize how much better your rig is, how much more capable your rig is, and how much easier life is when you're out exploring. Anyway, so I think that's it for this video. Thank you guys for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.